Okay, boom. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have two magnificent guests with us tonight who are going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration. And those are none other than our two friends out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, none other than Allison and Chelsea. How are you all doing?
Hi, thanks for having us. I'm doing great, very great. I feel great gratitude. Yep.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, and thank you everyone who is watching all around the world. Can't wait to upload this to YouTube. The first question that I have for you, we'll start with you, Allison,
Mhm.
is how were you able to first begin to beat your addiction?
Hmm. Well, what we learn in at meetings is like we have another mind to us. We have like the addict mind or the alcoholic mind. And I feel like that's been with me my whole life. I just didn't recognize it as something that has to do with addiction because I really just think addiction equals struggle and suffering.
Mm,
And what I did was I wanted to give myself a chance. Like I wanted to see if this universe, this world is like as magical as some people believe it to be. And yeah, that's why I'm here. I told myself that if in 6 months I don't like this, like sobriety, I will go back out there. But I feel like that's not going to happen.
we're saluting you and sending positive energy your way. And for you, Chelsea, what was it? When did you know that you were first able to begin to beat the addiction?
Well, I don't really believe it's ever something that you really beat. I think that you first have to accept that you are an addict or an alcoholic and that you can't do that. Like so they look at other people can like take a drink or go to the bar, whatever, you know what I mean, do it socially. But for us, you know, we take it a little bit too far to where it ruins everything, our whole entire life, everybody that loves us, everything that we ever loved and you have to realize there's a life outside of that. So like sort of what she was saying, it's like two separate like entities. So like for me, I do believe that, you know, I built something that I did love and had, but there was so much more potential, and the people I was surrounding myself also had issues who are no longer here. And part of the process is, you know, when we read literature at meetings, it's like jails, institutions, or death. Like that's what it comes down to.
Huh?
So any way that you want to look at it, if you know, because for us, like it's a reoccurring disease. So like once you take that first drug or drink, they say it doesn't happen that, you know, this is true. It doesn't happen overnight, but there's something inside of us that's allergic to it. And we like it so much that like our minds, whatever, you just start doing it every day and so much time passes
Right.
and you don't
Like it
realize.
becomes a habit, like
Yeah.
of doing well instead of putting our energy towards something negative, we're putting it towards something positive.
Yeah, and I could say like for me, for one of the first times I've realized it was a problem is when like my friend said to me like am I allowed to just like speak anything, say anything?
Of course, of
All
course, of
right.
course.
So like for me I started using like Percocets, right? Around the age of like 20, I was doing dental assisting and I started using Percocets. And I remember I was hanging out with this guy and he said he felt better when he did them at work. And I was like, you're doing like this recreational thing that we do on the weekends or whatever. You're doing it at work. Like I thought he was so bad. And then I remember I stopped seeing him because of that reason. And then like before you knew it, I started doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one day having to return a pair of scrubs for so I could afford like another pill just so I could get high that night, and it just started becoming a normal thing without me even realizing that it was a normal thing to get high every day. Normal people don't have to get high every day, like, you know, to the
Mm-hmm.
point where if you don't have it you get sick. So like that was like one of the main things for me when I recognized like, all right, this is a problem. Of course I couldn't tell anybody. And then one of my best friends at the time said to me, you're going to get sick if you stop taking these pills. And I was like, what? And we
Mm-hmm.
both kind of went through it at the same time together, and I had to like hide it. I was living at my dad's. I had to hide it from him. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't tell anybody, and I was so young. Like at the time, this was like a good 10 years ago. So I'm 31, and it's scary, you know. Like and me, having siblings and like you know, I'm not a mother like you asked, but if I was, like, if I knew that my kid was going through that, like, I would do anything to help them, as my parents would. But when you're in it, you're so scared, you don't want to tell anybody because it's like so devastating.
It's like a shame-induced thing.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I want to thank both of you all for your being vulnerable and having this conversation with us. I had the honor and opportunity to visit for a weekend here in Atlanta, Georgia, a 12-step program, and to be a part of just seeing people who are in recovery and AA. I've been, to different meetings, and I really salute you all for your courage. Thank you very much. Um, Thank you, Peace, Naima. Thank you, Peace. Maybe people are showing you our love. Wonderful. Thank you, Sister Deborah. Thank you for your transparency. Thank you all for watching. I wanted to ask you, Allison, for family members who are seeing someone go through some of these signs, what advice would you give for them? What can the family do in a when this is presented to one of their loved ones?
Oh, that's a good question. I think that key is to not make the addict feel ashamed for what they're doing. I think a lot of honesty goes a long way in just expressing how you feel. But I feel like it could get turned around like easily if you're talking to if like my dad, for example, he is hard on me a lot of the time, and he didn't know what was wrong with me. And when I was getting high, he didn't know that I was getting high, but he could see my soul like slip away almost. And but so if I were, let's say, a year in the program, I feel like I'll know a lot more than I do now. But I would recommend to any parents or siblings that are where their sibling or son or daughter is suffering, I would just tell them you love them, like, like that you want the best for them. And instead of like telling the addict or the alcoholic that it's bad to do drugs, like don't like stop, don't do it, like just have some empathy and compassion. I think that goes a long way.
Wonderful. Thank you for your advice, Mel. And for you, Chelsea, what would you say to family members and how they can help loved ones dealing with addiction?
Are you talking about like somebody who knows that their kid or whatever or family member is already struggling? Or are you talking
Yes,
about
ma'am.
like,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, um, just like she said, to tell them that they're so loved, but nothing's really gonna work until that person's ready to like admit that, that they're doing it and they need help, Like for somebody, if I were to be like yelling at you, like say we're like my sister and being like, I know you're getting high, I know you're getting high, like they're automatically gonna backfire and be like, no, I'm not.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you don't see it until after. So it's really just a personal thing. You know, but I don't know, just to be as gentle as possible, I guess. And like, um, yeah, to know that they're loved, you know what I mean? Because so many people pass away from this addiction, it's crazy. So like I would just I don't know, everybody's case scenario is different, but I would just go with the love comment too.
Beautiful. Yes, ma'am. Thank you all both. And thank you everyone who was watching. I want to come back to you, Allison. I wanted to ask you, um, there's a term, one of my favorite, well, he is my favorite rapper. He goes by the name of Eminem. And he has, I want to say this year was like his 16th year in sobriety. He had the chip and he goes to AA. He's very open about rap. He raps about him handling his addiction and how important rock bottom. He has a song called Rock Bottom and how important that is. This term rock bottom, is that something that you've experienced? And what is it? What is rock bottom?
I would define rock bottom as when you lose control over your own actions and it's suddenly the addiction running the show. Like, I feel like rock bottom is when you think about getting high and that's all on your mind every day. And you like crying and doing drugs as you're crying. Like when you get to the point where you don't want to do this anymore, but yet you're still doing it, that's rock bottom in my opinion. I don't think it has to look a certain way. I just think it has to produce a feeling that you're like that if you keep going on the way you are, you're just going to lose yourself more and more and more, and you're hurting everyone around you. People don't want to be around you. Like you just, it's very selfish when someone's struggling in addiction. It's a very selfish thing. But the only good thing about that part is that once you get to AA and NA or whatever, you can use that selfishness into getting better and not keep going out and doing the wrong thing.
Beautiful. Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much, Allison. And thank you all who are watching. People are sending you all love and positive energy in the comments. Thank you very
Thank you.
much. For you, Chelsea, what does rock bottom look like?
I think she did. I think she explained it like really great, but just having enough, like you know, I remember one time somebody said to me, I was in a recovery house. The girl said, "I don't think you've hit rock bottom," only because I was so they call it like a pink cloud phase, like when you first get sober, where you're just happy. You know what I mean? And I just didn't want to be like a negative Nancy and be like, oh my God, da, da. So, but rock bottom for me was like being in a relationship with somebody I loved that turned really like abusive, very violent, a lot of like fighting, and it was basically because of using like it was because of the drugs, like that's what it comes down to. But just like waking up every day praying to be out of it and praying that I'd be able to be where I'm at now and like not not have to get high anymore. Like, you know what I mean? And I went through that for like over a year.
Mhm.
Like it was a long time.
And just because you're at your bottom, it doesn't mean that you're gonna get well. Like,
Yeah.
right? That like it gets worse every single time you go back out. Like, no, without a doubt, it gets worse. Like every single time.
Yeah, I don't think it's like, I mean, everybody's different, but I don't think it could be like one specific event, but for me, um
Slow progression.
yeah, like there was like many things that happened and that were tied in between, but it was just I didn't want to do it anymore. You know what I mean? Like I had nowhere else to go. Like it's so manipulating. Like I would think that I could go places, but I would still want to use it didn't matter. Like I wasn't. So like this time, it was on Thanksgiving. I went to rehab. I remember like my aunt had texted me and she said, it was so sad that you didn't, go to your family's house for Thanksgiving this week or this year. And that's like when I knew. I was like, holy shit, like this is like the first time that like I haven't like I missed a funeral, which was a big deal. But then when I missed Thanksgiving, it was like I never would miss that. You know what I mean? But I was like, it doesn't matter. I don't even want to get into it. But yeah, that was it. Like, so I didn't actually know, like, going into rehab this time around, I was gonna get this far and like go to recovery. I had no idea what was gonna, what was gonna come out of it. I just knew that I wanted to go away, and then I actually enjoyed being clean and sober when I was there. And I said, like, I want to stay this time. I want to stay as long as possible, and I want you guys to come up with a good outcome, like for me to leave. Like, I can't go back to where I came from.
Yeah, sounds like you're like expressing like humility right then and there. Like, you know what I mean? Like the rock bottom, it's like you have to be able to admit that you're at your bottom. And it's very healthy to live at a one day at a time like mindset. You know what I mean? Like that sounds like you had a one day at a time mindset.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the most healthy you could be. Like because like the point is like we're addicts where we can pick up at any point. Like we're going to pick up and get drugs no matter what. But living with humility and God's will and one day at a time, it helps you like just for today I'm not going to do drugs, but maybe tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and then just for that day I'm not going to do anything. It just that's what's healthiest. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I thank you both. You all this is phenomenal. We have so many questions for you, and everyone is sending positive love and energy to Allison and Chelsea. Thank you very much again. Allison, I wanted to ask you, a lot of people would use terms like the media, television, entertainment. Are these triggers? Are these things that can help cause addiction, or is that a scapegoat, or are these legitimate reasons that our loved ones or family that people go into substance abuse?
I feel like of course everything that you consume will be something that could be a byproduct of like how you're going to think and perceive of the world. But I honestly think it depends on the person. Like I don't get triggered personally by like music that talks about drugs and alcohol. I don't get triggered by that, but it's about learning how to be triggered. Like because we're going to be triggered all the time no matter what. But yeah, it could happen just from a song that brings up memories or yeah, anything really. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's up to it's you need to want it really badly to stay sober. Like you need to really feel it in your heart that you want to give yourself a chance. I don't think it has everything. It doesn't have to do with the media. From in my opinion, I don't know if that's the truth, but for me personally, no.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, ma'am. And for you, Chelsea, what are your thoughts on as far as the media, the music, as being triggers? Is that a legit cause?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't think it's true.
Some other people may feel differently though.
Yeah, maybe like if you are like using, you know what I mean? Like you might be like, yeah, they're talking about drugs. Yeah, this is my lifestyle. But like it's just music and they're just entertainers. But I also think like, I was like so traumatized like this last time of like I was doing methamphetamines and I was like really in an extremely abusive environment that I put myself in. But like I couldn't listen to music for like the first like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, that answers his question then.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
But I think it had to do with like my drug use and stuff like that. But yeah, like I don't know. It's not like I couldn't listen to it because they talked about it. I just couldn't listen to it because it was so
They glorify it, right?
No.
Oh.
I was just so like everything was so traumatic that like my feelings just like were very hard to like I don't know. Like and I've heard other people like be like, yeah, me too. Like they agree with me where it was like I remember just saying like in the first recovery house before I came here, I stayed sober the whole time, but the first one I was in, I remember saying to like my house manager, I was like, I can't listen to music. Like I could listen to it if somebody else is listening to it, but I couldn't like go for a walk and listen to music. I couldn't listen to it like in the butt. Like nothing.
Was it not giving you joy like it used to?
I was scared like to listen to it. Like I was scared that it was going to remind me of things from before. And
Wow.
yeah. But I couldn't even think like, I don't think that like music that talks about that kind of stuff is triggering. No, I don't.
Okay. Well, great. Wonderful. And we have a few more questions for our two illustrious guests. We have a brief 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast. We are grateful for every like, share, and subscription. Thank you all very much for every anonymous Cash App. Thank you all, everyone who is showing love to all the People's Podcast affiliates. One moment. We're coming right back to our guests. They're doing great, Allison and Chelsea. Second. And we are live with the People's Podcast. Street Premiere Media Production. He has a 4K camera and a drone. He does television and film editing. Please reach out if you need any of that. Sister Naima, Stay On Point Dance Academy. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country. Sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me children's book and coloring book. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ. My two books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book, and No Father, No Excuse, both of which are available on Amazon.
Interview on podcast or live?
Wonderful. Thank you very much. All right. And shout out to our YouTube family, everyone who always shows love. We want to start this time. We want to start with you, Chelsea. I wanted to ask you, how has addiction affected your love life? How does that affect your love life?
It took everything from me. Like, I was really close friends with somebody who struggled with addiction, like as did I, but I would say they're a little bit more deeper in it than I was. And I was friends with, like it was like my best friend for like a good like 4 or 5 years of my life. He passed away actually on the train. He like, yeah, and it was crazy because I remember saying to him, like, I was like, I don't want to be with you when you're using, because I had gotten clean off of like fentanyl, heroin. And at this time I met somebody else that introduced me to methamphetamines. And like, I felt like a hypocrite. Yeah, stop it. I felt like a hypocrite because I was telling him that, but he knew that I was using the other drugs. So long story short, he didn't want to, when I like said I don't want to be with you, he didn't really want to hear it. He kind of already said, I know what you're gonna say. And I remember it was like 2 weeks later, and I was like getting high off of methamphetamines, and I was like, wow, I haven't heard from this guy in a long time. So I reached out to him, or I didn't reach out to him. His mom texted me saying he passed, and at the time he was in the Philadelphia shipyard for the Navy Yard doing apprenticeship for welding, and really genius. He passed away at 33, and his mom texted me saying he passed, and I'm like thinking he passed the test, and I had no idea if she meant away. So I was like, holy crap. And oh my God. But I remember like saying like you should go to rehab, like, because I had gotten clean off the heroin, fentanyl, whatever. And he did. This is all before he relapsed. And like he was such a phenomenal person off the drugs. And it's crazy, like as an addict, to see the difference in somebody, especially when you really love them. And then after that, I was with a guy that was much older than me, and I went to rehab this time around because there was so much going on around Thanksgiving, and like I had lived with him for a good, I think 2 years, 2.5 years. Like time goes like this.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I went to rehab. I talked to him like one time in the rehab because we were still kind of rocky. He was really upset with me that, I just kind of ran away and didn't talk to him for like a month, and then put myself in rehab. And I was like, I thought when I called him, I said, you probably think I'm calling you to come pick me up. He's like, well, you are, right? And I was like, no, I think I'm gonna stay. And he was just really angry because he missed me and like all this kind of stuff. So I went to this recovery house called MVP after rehab. Immediately after, it's a very strict program. It's a therapeutic community, so it's all about like pushing people up and saying what you think they do wrong. Da, da, da. And he didn't understand how strict they were and like the blackout process there. So he ended up passing away in January. So like I never got a chance to see him again after I got clean, which is crazy. So like I'm just gonna say like my love life was not good because of this. And I'm just the type of person that like I feel more comfortable. I'd choose comfort over love. Like, you know what I mean? I'd rather be with somebody that I know and that I trust than to like take a chance with somebody new. That's just how I've always been. But yeah, so this time around, like I'm really like secluded, and I don't like it's sad. Like, I get sad a lot, but like I thought I'd be able to like, fix myself and still have people in my life that I care about. But they're not here anymore. So like, I don't know. Like when I like months ago, I was like, I'm not gonna be with another addict. I can't be with another addict. Like, look at what it's done to me. But like, I don't know. I feel like I'm being a hypocrite because like I gotta realize what I've done to other people too. But I'm
also remember that to give yourself grace. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm just trying to like fix. I'm trying to like fix myself, and I'm not gonna be in anything for a really long time because I don't know. I still have so much work to do. Like I started doing this therapy that was like not DBT. It was something else. I forget what it was, but it's like a trauma therapy and all this kind of stuff. Cause like, I feel like during my addiction for so long, I just like, I don't know. I think I went through a lot, and I just like tried to find it. And it was very healing, like this, therapy stuff I was doing, but yeah, I don't know. And it's sad. Cause like, I realize like now that I'm sober, like getting to see my family is like, I'm so much happier when I get to see them and spend time with them. You know what I mean? Sober. Yeah. It's awesome. Yeah. Cause it's like, I remember like before on the holidays, just like wondering if I was ever going to be clean, like getting high in the bathroom and being like, I wonder if there's ever going to be like a Christmas where like I'm sober and I can enjoy this. And like, what a difference it makes. Like when you are, huge difference. You know what I mean? Like you're not like rushing to leave, and you like genuinely want to be there. You love everybody, you like all your nieces and nephews. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Chelsea. And Allison, we're coming to you. Thank you, Brother Lee, for showing love. Let's make sure everybody supports Brother Lee on Spotify with your music. He said this is a great topic, much needed. Thank you, everyone. And we can't wait to upload this to YouTube so people can continue to show love to Allison and Chelsea. Chelsea, I wanted to ask you one more follow-up question before we come to Allison. You said there was a blackout process. Could you explain to us what that is?
Oh, like with the recovery house?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. All right. So, every recovery house is different, but like the blackout process is, you can't leave. You can't have like any visitors. They're just trying to keep you safe, I think, really. But like, yeah, you can't see your family. Like you're basically like
learning to get the ropes of the
but
right.
But like there it was like I was on blackout for like 3 months.
What?
Yeah. So it was crazy.
That's
like
a long time.
Yeah, so when I came here, I was able to see my dad on Easter, and it was like he was so happy. He was like, "Oh my God," like, you know what I mean? So it was awesome.
Excellent. Yes, ma'am. All right. For you, Allison, how has addiction affected your love life?
Well, for me, I have a bunch of theories, and one of my theories is that we're on Earth right now to learn how to love, and I feel like I used to like I was in a very unhealthy relationships because I was unhealthy, and and so it affected my love life significant others, with family members, just in any capacity, with learning how to love and be compassionate, and appreciative, and just I think that it kept me away from myself using the drugs and that. Like I wasn't even me, to the point where everyone I was attracting, probably they weren't themselves either. Like their loving self.
That makes perfect sense.
Right. Like but on the flip side, I feel like if it wasn't for my addiction, I wouldn't be here today learning what it really is to love. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Beautiful. Yes, ma'am. Okay, great. I wanted to ask you, we'll start with you, Chelsea. What do you enjoy? What do you do for fun? What brings you joy?
Um, a lot of things. I I love gardening. I like artwork. I like to cook. I like to cook for other people and them to like, enjoy my food and be like, this is good, whatever. Hanging out with my family. I love to like explore. I love to show people places that I know that they don't know. So I guess teaching. Um, yeah, and I like I was actually applying to for new jobs, and I wrote like, what do you actually want to do? Like, where do you want to work? And like I'm kind of like hesitant to go back because I worked on like farms and stuff like that, and I've also worked like in the kitchen, like prepared food section of the kitchen. But like I'm thinking about like I have to try new experiences and stuff that like like narrow it down to things I actually like doing. But yeah, I love being social and I love working with people. But yeah, there you go. There's a little list.
Yeah.
Great.
It's funny that you say that, because I'm the complete opposite. Like I don't know what I love at all. Like I don't have any hobbies right now. I don't know. Being here today, I get the luxury of being able to try different things.
Yeah.
That I might like, but I really like when I said like I didn't know myself, like I did not know myself. I just knew that what I was, who I was, how I perceived the world was not my authentic self, and
Mhm.
I'm finally becoming that right now. So for how do I have fun? We laugh a lot. There's honestly at meetings, they do a lot of recovery stuff, like activities where we might go, like in the summer, like pool parties, without drinking, of course, but or bowling night. There's actually a lot of fun in recovery. I just haven't had the luxury of learning it yet.
Wonderful.
You're learning.
Okay.
I think you're like learning to get to know you.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, this is phenomenal. Excellent. We just have one more question for you both. I want to start with you, Chelsea. If you could let us know, what advice would you give to people for better coping mechanisms who are maybe battling depression or trying to work on overcome depression? What are things that people can do?
Hmm. Um. So like depression's a tough subject. I think that with depression, you're going through a rut, but I think that eventually you're gonna get out of it. And I think that you can only learn from what you've already kind of gone through. But like I think that for me, a lot of times what depression comes from is just something that I've yet to do that I'm stressing about, like, so to just get up and do it or try it. But um like it'll be like, for example, it'll be like something I really don't want to do. Like say it's like and I could sit on that and that'll make me depressed because I've yet to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like I heard one time that people who are depressed because they constantly think about their problems.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of like that,
Yeah.
you know?
But like, I think they're like
But
coping mechanisms are like doing little things in between that you like to do. Like whether it's like maybe just to get you through that. Like if you like knitting or like, because a lot of girls here will like knit and crochet, like when we have like
Okay, okay.
like little things like that, or like cooking. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't really know. Yeah, this is a big one.
it
Spending
is.
time outside. you know?
Yes.
Like,
some vitamin D.
yeah, if you get like sunlight or just go for, you don't even have to, because a lot of times when you're depressed, like it's hard to get energy or motivation to do something. But like if you like make a routine of something too, like, and then you don't even know that you're doing it, and then you find enjoyment in doing it, and then you start doing it every day, like even if it's just taking like a 15-minute walk, you know what I mean? And then you do that every day, that'll make you happy. It'll be something to look forward to. And that could be anything, anything. But I think that being outside is huge. Like she said, you have to get, like, I got my blood work done this winter, and like actually the only thing that was a problem was vitamin D. So they gave me supplements, you know? But yeah, like just yeah. Like if it was up to me, I grew up at the beach. If it was up to me, I would like I could spend like the whole day on the beach, you know? It makes me so happy. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Thank you, Chelsea. And for you, Allison, some advice that you would give to people who just on some positive coping mechanisms who are overcoming depression or trying to overcome depression.
Yeah, I think this is a really good question because I used to be extremely depressed to the point where trigger word, I committed suicide 5 times in 1 year, and I was in a coma, and it was bad. But like for me, I feel like, or anyone else who's struggling, I think that it gets better once like you find a way to live, like you have a purpose to live for, and that could be just as simple as like I said in the beginning. I feel like this universe is magical, and it like you can tap into like God energy and like really connect with yourself and your higher self to the point where like the reality might be like, I heard that I when I was really bad with my depression, I found neuroscience and spirituality, and just if anyone knows Dr. Joe Dispenza, yeah. Yeah, like I started watching YouTube videos on how to like and Buddhism. Like I think Buddhism really makes sense for me, and that
Okay.
helped me like, because they say that life equals suffering or struggling, and learning how to accept that there's going to be suffering and suffer like, yeah, like hard times, but learning to accept that is what can heal and help you move forward. And I think
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah, because sometimes
learning how to love yourself is the end.
yeah, because sometimes you like for me, it's like I don't want to, yeah. Like for especially like in early recovery, like I would cling on to deflecting with like laughter, or like, you know what I mean, like talking about how I couldn't listen to music. It was like I would just laugh all the time or be around people who made me laugh or just try to be funny. And like I love to laugh. I always say if you can make me laugh, you have my heart. But like, you know,
I also think that like with how depressed and low you are, you're going at one point in time, if you keep your faith, like you'll be just as at that same level, but with happiness. Like if as much as someone suffered, they're going to have that much enjoy. Like when they
yeah.
beat the end, like that's just
And I think that
the
we're
universe's waves.
yeah, and I
Up and
think
down.
that like any addict who is in recovery is like a walking miracle. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like it's crazy because when you're deeply and truly in it, it's so hard to ever think that you're going to be clean, especially have like time under your belt. Like how many months?
I have 4 months.
Yeah. And I'm coming up on 9, and like I would have never, you know what I mean? Like I would have never, I couldn't even get past a couple hours or a
Same.
day. Like, right. So,
This means so much to me, my family, and the View and Artists People's Podcast. Thank you all for sharing. Thank you everyone who was showing love. Thank you, Sister Mina Hutchinson, and thank you for sharing. And people, Sister Naya says much respect to both of them for sharing and being so transparent. This is beautiful. I wanted to we have just a few more questions for you. But Allison, you said that what was the man's name? Because I want to write that down. That I should watch on
the
YouTube.
doctor.
Dr. Joe Dispenza. Dispenza. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. I'll watch it.
Yeah.
And Amina, Sister Amina Hawk says, "You rock, ladies." Sister Naima says, "Congratulations to you both, and congratulations on your time." Wonderful.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, now I'm coming to you, Chelsea, but I got to follow up with Allison because you said 5 times in 1 year.
Yeah. Yeah. At that point in my life, like I grew up, I was 21 years old. I'm now 30. Growing up, I heard my dad say like everyone needs to get a job. Nobody likes their job. And
Yeah,
whatever.
mine said the same thing.
And so that gave me a preconceived notion that like I'm good when I grow up and I become an actual adult, I'm gonna hate my life all the time. Like there's nothing to live for. Like it's not my dad's fault, but it was like that's the way he grew up thinking. Like no one likes their job. You have to do that to pay the bills. You have to, and I just like thought that like that routine of it sounded horrible. So yeah, when I was 21, I tried to kill myself 5 times in 1 year, and I couldn't. And my dad says it to this day. Like I was not meant to die. Like I was on. Like they had to defibrillate my heart like twice. Like it was bad. I was dead that fifth time, and that was even before the drugs and the alcohol. And I don't know. I have a new gratitude for life because I really do think there's something special out there if you're seeking it. Like really.
That's phenomenal, wonderful. And I'm coming back to you, Chelsea. I interviewed someone earlier at 3 o'clock, and he was speaking about being in New York and what is known as a crack house. And at the crack house, he would say that it took him. He said he went months without bathing, things that he just experienced in that whole environment. And I kept asking him, "Well, how do you come from that place and make it through and make it out?" So to hear his testimony and then a few hours later to hear you all's testimony, this is very powerful and exciting. I'm grateful that you all would share with us, your journey. Chelsea, I wanted to ask you, with the programs like the recovery houses and the 12 steps and things of this nature, should we volunteer to go in, or do you like how does that work? Like when does your family drop you off, your significant other drop you off, or you just say I'm going and I'm volunteering? How does that work?
Well, what do you mean, like as volunteer? Do you mean like people? Yeah, do you mean like people to come to recovery houses and speak, or do you mean like to actually physically like how we're in a recovery house right now?
No. How you enter? Like what? Like you just say I'm signing up. Like you walk
well,
up?
usually,
the only requirement is the desire to stop using. That's the only requirement.
Yeah, but typically you come from a rehab.
Hmm.
So it's like I highly suggest people.
And there's girls in the community that takes us to meetings. Like
yeah, I highly suggest though, like following, like like for me, I always say you shouldn't go back to where you came from, and it took me like a minute to learn that. You know what I mean? Like definitely don't go back to wherever you got high. Some people like everybody's story is different, but like you think at the time, because I'm extremely hard headed, like most of us are. You think at the time, like, oh, I'm going back home, wherever home is. But like you have to start a whole new life. And like for me, so many times, like I said, like I've been to rehab. Like I tried to hide it. Like first and foremost, you can't hide it. You have to be honest, and you have to be honest with yourself. And people are going to be in your corner, and people are going to want to help you. You know what I mean? Like keeping it hidden and keeping it a secret and going into detoxes or whatever, not telling maybe your significant other or your family, your mom, dad, whoever, it's just not going to work.
Yeah, and they're going to be proud of you anyway for getting the help.
So proud.
Very proud.
And it's the scariest thing in the world, being like, look, this is what's going on. This is what I have to do. But like, and then they're going to be hurt too. But it's more of you got to be like selfish in an unselfish way. Like she said, they're going to be proud of you because if you look at it from the outside perspective, like that's what we would want for that person too. But it takes a lot of like audacity to be like, But like for me, yeah, I highly suggest going to a rehab and then following through
90.
Yeah, going
90 meetings in 90 days.
Yeah, like and get as much therapy and help as you can, and the recovery house is just gonna give you structure, like to do these things. Like one of the girls here, like she had a speaking commitment, and she was scared and she did really well, and I was like, look, you don't see it now, but you're gonna look back and be so thankful because of the recovery house. It's made you got a sponsor who now gave you the speaking commitment, who, like she said, it's healing, like internally you're helping others, and then like you want to start sharing your story and stuff like that. And it's so scary when it's you like sharing your story, but like I often find like people have really good stories, like I find it amazing just to listen, for like a half hour, and then like you can relate and you see like, wow, there's so many similarities that we have. But like, yeah, so usually you go from most recovery houses, you do come from a rehab first, and it's just like following in the right path until you're ready to get on your own feet, and that's where this place is going to help you. And it just helps you with like, you know, you start paying weekly rent or whatever, and then you know, you get grounded, and then you're like, all right, I've been here for however many months, and then I know that I could pay rent and like whatever when I leave the recovery house to go to my apartment because I've been doing it here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you get into the habit of
Yeah.
doing the right next best thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just, and most people that own recovery houses are in the program themselves or they've been through it. So they just want to help you, you know, and you might think that they're a little bit tough, but it's out of love. And it's a safer place to be than being with people who don't understand or people that you're related to. Cause they're going to try to help. It's just going to be a lot of,
confusion.
Yeah.
And
camaraderie. I don't know.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you, Samina Hawk. She said, share the basic, ladies. Good job. People, places, things, and playgrounds all must change. All must change. All must change. She's someone who I went with meeting. Thank you for taking me to. We were playing cards and everybody. It was just like people were sharing, but in between playing cards and
That's cool.
and it was a beautiful. And I wasn't even aware that there was no alcohol or anything like that because everybody was just having a good time.
Yes.
And she pointed out, she was like, you notice that there's no alcohol on it. So I thank you very much for taking me to see that it's possible. That was motivation for me, that people were just, you can enjoy yourself in a positive environment. So thank you very much. And wonderful. I have one last question for you, Allison. First of all, we're going to stay connected so that, you know, any other people, any other guests that you have that you would like to suggest, they can always come on the People's Podcast and share their story as well. And you always can come back for part 2, Chelsea and Allison. This is home. So just anytime you all want to come back and share to help inspire others. I wanted to ask you, Allison, what made you accept my request?
Well, so yeah, I have a TikTok page, and before you guys get your panties in a bunch, I recorded like a lot of videos of me when I was in my addiction. So I don't even like to watch like my old videos or whatever, but the purpose of that was so that when I finally did get clean, there would be evidence of the spiritual change inside of me to compare to. So I just figured like, this is a risk. Like it's the 12th step is about helping another addict. And I feel like this was the perfect way to help another addict that suffers. That's why I accepted.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I'm honored, and hopefully we get a chance to do perhaps in-person interviews if I ever go to Philly or you all ever come here. And I'm just whatever we can do as a society to help in this. Let me know. Any guests, anybody who wants to come on. Just Amina Hawk, you already know what it is because she's the one I went to the meeting with. Please let me know for any more guest suggestions that you have. And she said she said she's glad that you took the risk, and I'm just honored to be here and to be used as a medium to help channel positive energy. So
yeah, thank you. I thank you for even asking me.
Yeah,
like that. This was a great opportunity.
Yeah,
excellent. I saw you commenting. You made a comment on one of the videos about you being. I was like, what? I was like, oh, I gotta ask her. Like you like yeah, you were like, yeah, I'm free. Yeah. I've been working on this. I'm like, oh, this is the perfect guest. So thank you all very much. And she says August 4th. Oh, she's been she took her first step, I guess, 1993.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is I'm trying to do the numbers, Amina Hawk. That's July 7/4/93. So yes, that's July. So July 4th, 93.
Oh, that was 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's all. I can't wait till that's us.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, can we do this again in 30 years?
Man, you already know what time it is. You already know what time it is.
Right. Maybe like 5.
Absolutely. And once again, you all in Philadelphia, one of my favorite television shows. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Patty's Pub. So I feel like I know a little bit about Philly because of that show, because I watch it all the time. But yes, whatever.
Cool.
31 years. Yeah, she said 31 years.
31.
Wow. So. Congrats.
Congrats.
That's awesome.
Excellent. Well, on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast, we thank you very much. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off of the People's Podcast. You all have a great evening.
Okay. You too.
Bye. Thank you for having us.
Bye. Thank you all for watching.